Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 20. As today, we will be finishing off the month of May. We got ourselves some minor league action. We're going to watch a AA game, a AAA game, and then a Major League game. So a lot of stuff on tap for today's episode. It's going to be a fun one. Let's get right into it. Starting with the AA squad, the Altoona Curve, currently sitting at a record of 22-22, exactly 500. Third in the Eastern League Division, 7 games behind the first-place Harrisburg Senators, the AA affiliate of the Washington Nationals. We're also 1 game behind the Akron Rubber Ducks. I want to say they're the Indians AA team. Could be wrong about that. So here's a look at the lineup. There aren't a lot of top-tier prospects here other than Santiago Osuna, who we'll get to in a second. Mickey Moniak has been solid. The Over Peguero has been solid. Those are probably the 2 best prospects on the AA lineup. Then there's Sean Humber. His potential has gone down to a D. It started as a 7D when we drafted him last year. He's gone down to a 69. Nice. I don't know if he'll ever make the majors. He's at his peak right now, and I think he has a major league level bat. So it is certainly something to consider, maybe having him as a bench bat down the line. Not right now. I think he still could use some minor league experience. And then the pitching rotation. Santiago Osuna has been dominant. 5-3, 2.35 ERA, 1.10 WHIP. Really happy to see Osuna playing at a high level so far at the young age of 18 years old. He's already gone up 2 ratings. And the rest of the rotation outside of Brennan Malone is doing great. But Malone has been absolutely awful this year. Like, he has been utter garbage. Those aren't even mediocre numbers. Those are trash. But I'm really happy to see the rest of the rotation doing well. Quinn Priester, a highly level prospect. And obviously, Osuna is too. And then in the bullpen, the main guys to watch out for include Leonard Iguchi and then Joel Cesar, a guy who has developed really well for this squad. So the Curve will be taking on the 24-20 Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the AA affiliate of the New York Mets. They have a few top prospects in there, Ronnie Mauricio, along with their first rounder in last year's draft, third baseman Danny Kell. On the mound for the Rumble Ponies is going to be Kevin Smith. In 7 starts, he's 0-2 with a 4.58 ERA, 1.47 WHIP. Not awful, but not good either. As the leadoff batter, Sean Bush, the speedster, he doesn't really provide a whole lot of other value. Flies out to right. That's a nice catch by Jason Krizan. As we move to the bottom of the first, Ernest Alvarez in for the Curve. He's been mediocre. The whip is kind of bad, but the ERA isn't awful. As here's Danny Kell, super raw prospect. He's going to strike out. And as you can tell, we've got ourselves a pitching duel. Top of the second, Osvaldo Duarte going to strike out for the Curve. Now bottoms 2, Jeremy Vasquez. He's just a window shopper. Say it with me, kids, because he's just looking. Later in the frame, here's a grounder from the catcher, Francisco Alvarez. The play is made by Osvaldo Duarte. However, the throw is off. That'll be an error and provide the Rumble Ponies with an opportunity to drive in a run, or maybe not, as Shervin Newton will strike out. Now we go to the 4th inning. No hits for the Curve, only 2 for the Rumble Ponies. Nice play on the mound from Kevin Smith. And then here's Ryan Jorgensen, where things will change. Jorgensen with the bat flip. The perfect game from Kevin Smith is over, and the Altoona Curve are on the board. Jorgensen's 3rd home run of the season, and this game is now 1-0. And then the next batter, Leover Peguero, going to get the 2nd hit of the day for Altoona, a single into left. So now this offense is starting to figure things out. Here's Sean Humber trying to lay down the lumber. Instead, he will strike out, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. Danny Kell up. He will look at the fastball. Nice pitch from Ernest Alvarez, who's on fire. Here's Jeremy Vasquez. He will strike out. Alvarez continuing to dominate. On to the bottom of the 5th. Can the Binghamton Rumble Ponies start a rally here? As that's a good start. Single to start the inning off, just what they needed. Here's Nino de Mendoza now with 2 outs. Going to single that one into right. The throw to the plate is going to be off from Mickey Moniak. And this game is tied up at 1. Runners able to advance to 2nd. And this inning's not quite over yet. Osvaldo Duarte makes a great throw. However, Ronnie Mauricio beats out the throw. And that would bring up the number 3 hitter, Derek Hoover, who would line out to short, ending the inning. As we go to the bottom of the 6th now, Danny Kell will strike out his 3rd. He now has the hat trick. Let's go to the 7th. Leover Peguero leading the inning off. That one would almost be a grounder. However, the throw from the shortstop, Ronnie Mauricio, is off. So no outs for Luis Nieto. And that one will be grounded right to second. Shervian Newton makes the play, and that'll be a double play for Binghamton. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Speaking of Shervian Newton, he gets a single into right. But for runner on first, Jason Krizan was too worried about that being potentially caught that he would be out at second. 2 on, 2 out for Ronnie Mauricio. He flies out to center. The catch is made by Sean Bush. And now let's go to the top of the 8th. Adonis Uceta in for Binghamton. His first batter, Osvaldo Duarte. That one's hit nicely into center. It will barely drop for a base hit. He was faking 2 for a second, but will retreat back to first. 1 gone now for Ray Flynn Lorenzo, the catcher, and that'll be a 5-4-3 double play. The Binghamton infield was more chemistry than a science project, and we move to the bottom of the 8th. Ernest Alvarez still in, as there's Danny Kell. He's going to draw a walk with 1 out. Maybe this is Binghamton's opportunity to take the lead. Here's Jason Krizan, shopping gap in right center. Kell will score with ease, and the Rumble Ponies will rumble their way to the lead, as it's now 2-1. And we go to the 9th inning. Gene Traxler, the pinch hitter, gonna lead the inning off with a single for Altoona. The tying run is aboard for Sean Bush. Weak grounder to Danny Kell. They'll turn the 5-4-3 double play. And now the Curve are down to their last out. Ryan Jorgensen, who had the home run earlier, he's going to swing at the inside and low 12-6 curveball. More blind than Helen Keller. What were you swinging at? I think he was doing the Bird Box challenge of the plate. And that's how this game ends. Binghamton wins 2-1. Ernest Alvarez pitched the entire game for Altoona, but will get the loss. Not his fault. The Curve only had 3 hits the entire game. The only source of runs was the homer from Jorgensen. And then, obviously, Duarte and Peguero were the only other ones to get base hits in general. So we look at the Indianapolis Indians, the AAA team. They are currently 25-19. There are some more top prospects on this roster. Currently, we are second in, the International League West. The Columbus Clippers, the Indians' AAA team, is in first. But it is worth noting that we are the number 1 wild card, so that's good. Looking at the numbers, Michael Lowry, solid. Lazaro Armenteros, slow start, but he's actually playing a lot better. 275 is a really good number for him. And he actually has a chance to be a big part of our future. Only 21 years old. Really liking how he's played since he was acquired last season from the A's. Benny Lang has been outstanding. 315 average, 10 home runs. One of the best hitters in all of AAA. He'll probably be with the Major League team next year. Will Craig is hitting above 300. Brian Hayes has been as average as it gets, currently hitting 250 with 3 home runs. I'm happy we did not let him start in the majors. I don't think he's ready, and I don't think he'll be ready until next season. Travis Swaggerty's playing quite well, hitting 290. There's a chance he starts next season with the big league club. And then there's a look at the rest of his stats. The pitching rotation has a few interesting prospects, most notably starter-wise, Adonis Medina and Domingo Robles, both of whom are doing really well. Medina has an ERA of 2.67. Robles, a lefty, has an ERA of 2.63, and we need all the lefties we can get. And the entire rotation's doing well outside of Michael Gonzalez, who is a potential, but he's also like 26. And then here's a look at the bullpen. Quite solid. Delvidas Neverauskas will probably get called up towards the middle of the season, just like last year. And then Richard Rodriguez, I don't want to hold him hostage too much longer here in AAA. Just got to clear up a roster spot as the 25-19 Indianapolis Indians going to be taking on the 21-23 Toledo Mudhens. I know in the first game of the season, Indianapolis did play Toledo. But I'm willing to have another Mudhen game on here because of who's on the mound for them. A very intriguing person. Casey Mize, one of the top prospects in the Detroit Tigers organization. This is the Tigers' AAA affiliate. Mize has been really good this season for Toledo and should get called up pretty soon as he's going to get Benny Lang to go down looking. And we go to the bottom of the first. We saw Adonis Medina pitch in the first time we saw these guys. Now it's only fitting that we see Domingo Robles. As here's Royce Lewis, the former #1 overall pick a couple years ago. Gets that one into right field. Lewis was acquired at the beginning of the 2020 season in exchange for Riley Green, an outfield prospect. One out here for Frank Schwindel. That'll be a single into right field. Craig's throw is not going to be in time, and Toledo makes it 1-0. Usually Tim Tebow's in right. He's currently hurt. I'm sure Tebow would have made that play. And speaking of nice defensive plays, Steven Alamais tagging second, getting the throw to first. And we go to the bottom of the second. Here is Jacoby Jones. You might as well call him Kim Jong-un because he's launching nukes. Jacoby Jones with his second home run of the season. Here's Eric McGrath now, the third baseman. He will strike out, but so far not quite a great start for Domingo Robles. As we go to the third, here is Steven Alamais going to strike out. Casey Mize looking dominant so far, and we go to the bottom of the third. Here's John Nunez, the catcher. Gets that one to barely curve fair. A no-out double for Nunez, and the Mud Hens should have the perfect opportunity to drive him in. And then the next batter, Edgar De La Cruz, would get a single into center. The run would score, making it 3-0. The original clip didn't save, so we have to do with this. Domingo Robles would end the inning off strong as he strikes out Brandon Dixon and then Dewell Lugo as well. Both Dixon and Lugo have major league experience with the Detroit Tigers. As we go to the fourth, here is Benny Ling now. That's a grounder to first. Casey Mize still perfect through 4. Neither minor league team for the Pirates is really hitting well today. Here's Tristan Lutz now on the bottom of the fourth. That one is deep into center. Excellent play by Travis Swaggerty to get to it in time. And we go to the fifth. Brian Hayes now up at the dish. Perfect game still alive as Hayes will strike out. And then here's Jake Lamb now, the next batter. That one will go to second. However, Dewell Lugo bobbles it, and Lamb will get to first. The perfect game is over. The no-hitter is still alive, but the perfect game is over. And then here's Travis Swaggerty, 3-1 pitch. He would fly out to center, so the error doesn't really have much of an effect on the game per se, but sort of disappointing for Casey Mize as we go to the bottom of the fifth. There is Edgar De La Cruz going to strike out, and then Frank Schwindel now gets a single into left. However, turns out to be a lot more than a single, as that one will result in extra bases for Schwindel. A bad defensive play by Lazaro Armenteros. As we go to the sixth now, no-hitter, shutout, bye-bye. I'd like to introduce you to Arden Paps, as the catcher Paps goes deep for his third home run of the season, and the Indians will make this game a little bit closer. It's now 4-1. Here's Jacoby Jones. He's going to strike out Domingo Robles. Not a great day for him. That one would do it. As we go to the seventh, here is Benny Ling. That ball is crushed into right field, and it's not coming back to the stadium. Benny Ling with his 11th home run of the season, one of the highest marks in all of AAA, and now it's 4-2. Then here's Jake Lamb, going to try to replicate that. Instead, he will just strike out. We go to the bottom of the seventh inning. Dovydas Neverauskas is in for the Indians, as here is Eric McGrath going to lead the inning off with a base hit. So already Toledo has a runner on and should capitalize. Here's John Nunez, the next batter now. Gets that one into right. It would be caught by the right fielder, Will Craig. Runner would advance home because Craig has a noodle arm. He tried to throw it to third. He's more of a first baseman anyway. That's why Tim Tebow needs to be in right. And I'm sure the Indians will be happy to have him come back from injury. And then the inning's not over. There's a nice double for the Mud Hens. 2 going now for Frank Schwindel. That's a weak grounder to second base. Alamais makes the play. And now we go to the top of the 8th. Jose Cisnero is in for the Toledo Mud Hens. Here is Steven Alamais on a 1-1 count. That one is weakly hit to second, and Dewell Lugo with the barehanded throw. Nifty, nifty. Bottom 8 now. Nice diving effort by Brian Hayes, and the throw to first is in time. That was real close. And then Tristan Lutz strikes out. Good end of the inning for Dovydas Neverauskas as we go to the 9th. John Schreiber in now for the save. He's pitching well this season, only a 2.08 ERA. One out now for Benny Ling. Weak grounded to first. This could do it. 3-6-2 double play, and the Mud Hens will walk out of here with a victory by a score of 5-2. Excellent outing from Casey Mize, the Auburn product. I expect him to get called up quite soon. Only 2 base hits the entire day for Indianapolis. Both solo home runs, one for Arden Paps, the other for Benny Ling. And Domingo Robles did not look great. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't good. The pitching for Toledo was outstanding. Casey Mize did well. Cisnero and Schreibel finished it off as we go now to the Major League squad. The Pirates currently 34-21, first place in the division, half a game ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers, who are the number 1 wild card. You love to see it. We got an interesting race for the number 2 wild card right now. The Pirates are on pace to make the playoffs, but we're only in May. We're far from a guarantee to make it. So here's a look at the numbers. Kevin Newman has been a massive disappointment. He was moved to the leadoff spot to hit for contact, hit around that 300 range, and he's not done that. 224 up to this point. Got to see him play better, or else we may have to move him down the lineup. Brian Reynolds, putting up Brian Reynolds-like numbers, hitting 320. That's what he does. Josh Bell really starting to play well. He didn't quite get his groove in April, but he's really playing great baseball here in the month of May. Currently has 15 home runs, 44 RBIs, OPS of 962. As next up, Chris Davis. Chris Davis is a weird one. Obviously, last episode, Gregory Polanco got hurt, and he is done for the year, which sucks. So, the obvious choice could be we could play Chris Davis as an everyday guy, but he's such a liability on defense. All he does is hit for power, and I feel like he's a perfect bench bat. So Colin Moran can play the outfield. O'Neal Cruz can also play the outfield. So what we could do is we could have, hypothetically, Bo Bichette at short, Moran at third, and then Cruz at one of the corner outfield spots, or vice versa. Cruz and Bichette are the right side of that infield, and then Moran plays the outfield. Dylan Carlson's having an excellent rookie year. Happy to see him do well. Of course, here is Colin Moran. He started off on a very hot pace. He's starting to cool it down a little bit, but still having a nice season. Currently hitting 317. Bo Bichette, ever since the trade at the beginning of May, he's been playing a lot better. He was hitting like 215 when we got him. Francisco Mejia has been great. Very happy with his season. And then O'Neal Cruz really not playing his best ball. He got off to a hot start and is starting to cool things down here as a rookie. And then the bench bats are doing pretty solid. On to the pitching rotation. Jamison Tyone, we all know he's having a Cy Young-like season. Joe Musgrove, a little bit disappointing, but not terrible. Trevor Williams, he's having a good year, 3.03 ERA. Jordan Yamamoto, not great. I'd like to see him doing a little better. And then look at Mitch Keller, 3.43 ERA, 1.26 whip. He has far outplayed my expectations. Really happy to see him progressing well. He's already matched his win total from last season. Looking at the bullpen, Brandon Waddle has been adequate. Michael Feliz has been great. Yaxel Rios has been pretty average, not terrible, not great either. Jace Fry is doing well. Emmanuel Clase was phenomenal in April, has not been great here in the month of May. His numbers are still pretty solid. And Drew Bray Ramos is still absolutely awful. Aroldis Vizcaino is still absolutely amazing. And Ken Giles is continuing to play good baseball. As the Pirates heading out to Philadelphia to take on their in-state foes, the 28-27 Philadelphia Phillies. And I chose this game specifically because of the pitching matchup. Jamison Tyone and Zach Wheeler, both of them have been excellent this season. You all know Tyone's numbers, but Zach Wheeler ain't doing too much worse. Wheeler in 11 starts is 5-0, 1.54 ERA, 1.11 whip. Not a whole ton of strikeouts, at least in comparison to Tyone, but other than that, he has been great. But not a great start for him. First batter of the game, Kevin Newman, rips a liner into center field, but this is just the start of the fun, ladies and gentlemen. Next batter, Brian Reynolds, rips a single into right field, so already 2 runners on and no outs for Pittsburgh. A few batters later, we got Dylan Carlson. That one gets past the glove of the shortstop for a single, and the bases are now loaded. 2 outs for the shortstop, O'Neal Cruz. Can he drive in a run? Yes, he will, as that one will bloop into center. Andrew McCutchen could have had that, but he did not go for the effort, and that's going to cost the Phillies a run, and it might cost him a few more. Full count pitch for the catcher, Francisco Mejia, as Matt Vasgersian would say, Santa Maria. And the Pirates will take a 5-0 lead, a grand slam from the catcher, Francisco Mejia, his 10th home run of the season, and not a particularly great start for Zach Wheeler's day. Jameson Taillon on the mound, 9-0, 2.91 ERA, and the first inning for him would go a lot different. First batter, Yoan Moncada, would strike out. He was acquired last season in exchange for Aaron Nola. Former Pirates superstar Andrew McCutchen, he would strike out. And then full count pitch for Bryce Harper. Adios, get back to the bench. 1-2-3 inning. All strikeouts for Taillon as we move to the second. Kevin Newman picking up where things were left off. The Pirates batted around in the first inning, so that's why Newman's leading off this inning. And now here's Josh Bell with one out, and Bell crushes it to right center field. That ball is going to head in the seats, and the Pirates will make it a 7-0 lead. As Josh Bell with his 16th home run of the season, continuing to play great baseball. And Zach Wheeler's day would end from there. He's having a Cy Young-like season, but was just bad today. Mauricio Llovera now in for the Phillies. As we go to the third inning, Colin Moran would strike out. Nice pitch from Llovera. On the bottom of the third, Kyle Garlick up. He's going to start leading off with a walk. The first base runner for Philadelphia, as Ryan Burke would strike out. So much for that. And then Yoan Moncada will go down looking to end the inning. On to the fourth, Kevin Newman, 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Why not add a third? As Kevin Newman with the hat trick for base hits, and we're not even a third through the way of this game, technically. And then the next batter, Brian Reynolds, the contact machine, rips a single into left. Will we get that first inning all over again? That's a very good question. Here's Josh Bell, 2-1 count. That one is going to be lined into the right center field gap for extra bases. Both Newman and Reynolds will come home to score. The RBI double from Josh Bell will make it 9-0 Pittsburgh. And we are in the fourth inning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go bottom four. Here is McCutchen now. Going to get that one past the glove of Newman for a single. The first base hit today for the Phillies. It only took them to allow 9 runs for that to happen. However, Rhys Hoskins would strike out. And then Kyle Garlick would go down looking here in the bottom of the fifth. Next batter, Ryan Burke. That ball was right down Main Street. He's still going to hack at it. And we go to the top of the sixth. Christopher Sanchez is in for the Phillies, as leading off the inning is Kevin Newman, who gets a single into left. He is now 4 for 4 with 4 singles. This is the Kevin Newman we all know and love, ladies and gentlemen. However, the inning would come to an end as Dylan Carlson would fly out. Full count pitch here in the bottom of the sixth for JT Realmuto. That one is grounded to third. Bichette makes the play ending the inning. And we go to the seventh. 9-0 remains our score. Here's O'Neal Cruz, lefty-on-lefty crime. And Christopher Sanchez is going to strike him out. Let's go to the bottom of the seventh. Here is Scott Kingery ending the shutout for Philadelphia. He's going to get that one on the board as he gets a home run into left field. And the Phillies will make this game a little bit closer. His 9th home run of the season, and we would see a pitching change right after that. Taillon's pitch count was over 110. And Drew Bray Ramos, the former Philly, going to enter the game. He's going to strike out Kyle Garlick. And then here is Ryan Burke later in the 7th. This is not the prettiest chain of events, I'll tell you that. Colin Moran botches it. Even Chris Davis could have made the play out and left. And Burke will head home. So that's technically a home run. It will be ruled as an error, but the Phillies will make it 9-2. That is a display of bad defense, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the 8th. Nick Pivetta now in for the Phils. Here's Kevin Newman. Can he go 5 for 5? No, he cannot. He will strike out Pivetta's first of the game. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Aroydis Vizcaino in for the Pirates. Obviously, we all know he's having an outstanding season, and if he continues to play well, I'd expect the Pirates to give him a contract extension this offseason, as he is a free agent at the end of the year. He's going to get some strikeouts there. JT Realmuto going down. Now, here in the 9th inning, the Phillies are down to their last strike, but they're going to keep fighting. Kyle Garlick with his first home run of this season. And now the inning's going to end. Ryan Burke with a flyout. This time, the Pirates will make the play on it as Brian Reynolds catches it. And Pittsburgh wins this one 9-3. 5 runs in the first inning, 4 of which came off of the Francisco Mejia grand slam, and the offense was just clicking in this game. 4 hits for Newman, Mejia with the salami. Josh Bell drove in 4 runs, 2 on his double and 2 on the home run. The other RBI went to O'Neal Cruz, and the pitching was very good. Believe it or not, Adrubre Ramos was the only one who did not have an earned run. He did allow a run, but it wasn't his fault. And then the Phillies, only 5 hits. Obviously, Zach Wheeler really struggled. But Sanchez and Pivetta did finish the game off strong. So we simulated to the beginning of June, 37-25, as we're now at the MLB Draft. That'll be next episode. Currently, we are a game behind the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Central. We swept that Philly series, but then only took 1 of 3 against Milwaukee and then got swept by Tampa Bay. So we're not playing our best baseball right now. Currently, the Diamondbacks are the second wild card. But as I said, next episode will be the MLB Draft. Our Pirates hold the 6th overall selection in the first round. I will go more in depth about some of these prospects next episode. Last year, there were literally about 20 blue-chip prospects. This year, there are like 10. And it's also worth noting that Josh Bell is now the favorite for NL MVP, and Taillon is the favorite for NL Cy Young. You'll love to see it. Hope you all enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And as always, have a good one. Peace out.